What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Season Gaming Bitcast. Ainsley Bowden here, Dan the Rally Rodriguez next to me, Bert south of the border signs on the other side. So we've got a lot to cover today. Hideo Kojima back in the news talking about Death Stranding and showing off a new character that was originally shown at Comic-Con. We've got In Exile talking about VR development, Warner Brothers mentioning a DC game being developed, and we've got some tests of a whole bunch of new upcoming games. So let's go ahead and kick it off with Mr. Kojima-san, one of our favorite people here at Bitcast, no sarcasm. And apparently this was a trailer for Death Stranding shown at San Diego Comic-Con, talking about a character named Heartman, all in caps. According to Kojima, Heartman is a member of Bridges. His heart stops, and this is very Kojima-ish here, his heart stops every 21 minutes. He spends his time in the world of the dead for 3 minutes, and then he comes back by AED 60 times a day.
What the hell is AED?
Yes.
Okay.
So there was about a 2-minute trailer that he released just basically showing the character. This character is actually played by a friend of his who's also a filmmaker named Nicholas, I think that's Refn, I want to say. If I'm pronouncing that wrong, you can let me know. But anyway, it doesn't show, it doesn't show too much more of Death Stranding, just a character basically talking for a couple minutes. So it looks good, though. I mean, the footage looks sharp, no pun intended, and it's just another one of those weird things we can expect to see in Death Stranding.
Yeah, it seems like they have gone into introducing characters a lot in this game versus actually introducing the game itself, which is kind of strange. But as you said, in typical Kojima fashion, there's something interesting about this character when it comes to what his issue is with his heart, I guess. And that's really about all I can say. I mean, from a graphical standpoint, it does look pretty cool that they're going to have this happening. It seems like all their characters are mocapped pretty well. But that's about all I can say. It's the weird thing that's happened with Death Stranding to where I don't really have a lot to say yet because I don't know a damn thing about this game other than the 30 seconds of gameplay that we've seen in their last major trailer. So I'm just sitting tight right now, waiting around, eating some chips.
Got your ladder in your back pocket?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Jeez Louise. All right. Whatever. It's Kojima. So I mean, you're at the point where I just want to play the game. I really, really, really want to play the game. I'm assuming that being dead for 3 minutes, he gets to go into maybe the Death Stranding and whatever the hell that is.
Whoa! Spoilers.
I'm just spoiling everything right now for you. All right, and he's able to communicate with the dead maybe for 3 minutes, and he gets brought back by something. AED. What is that? Automatic electronic defibrillator. Maybe.
Whoa.
Like
Spoilers again.
I'm blowing your minds.
Yeah.
So 60 times a day. So I don't know, does his heart stop like just because it stops? Or does it stop because he stops himself?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
It just stops.
Automated external defibrillator. You were close.
I was close. All right. So he gets shocked back to life after 3 minutes. Kojima.
60 times a day.
60 times a day.
Yeah,
that sounds terrible. What a terrible life.
That's a terrible life, yeah. But there's got to be some significance to this, right? As you said, right? There's got to be something going on. If he's specifically calling out he's in the world of dead for 3 minutes, so that's going to have some significance in the game. But I'm with you, though, Bert. It just, it's another character introduction. We've still, after all these months and all this hype, we've still only seen a tiny, tiny amount of gameplay, which was next to nothing.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean these trailers just seem to shock me every single time. So
you sound super shocked.
All right, I figure we mentioned it. You kind of caught the rounds late yesterday, so as we record anyway. So another thing that was interesting earlier this week, right after we recorded our last Bitcast, was In Exile, the new Xbox game studio responsible for the Wasteland franchise. with upcoming Wasteland 3. They posted some new job postings talking about a new virtual reality title being in development. Now, of course, we all know that there's no virtual reality on Xbox today, so there's really no other reference here other than, this could potentially mean that they're going to work on a VR title for Windows 10 and something like Game Pass on PC. But it also could mean, bigger things such as VR headset support for Scarlet, which really wouldn't be too surprising given the Windows 10 ecosystem and the Windows platform that is being used for the Xbox operating systems nowadays. So just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this, whether you believe this is hinting at, some future VR compatibility in Scarlet, or if you think this is merely just going to be PC based and Xbox is going to continue to just stay away from VR.
I mean, I don't. The thing is, it's not. When I saw this, I thought the same thing. I'll be able to talk here by I can't even talk. So let's do this again. So, yes, I think that maybe something's coming for Scarlet as far as VR goes. I'd like to see something. I love the PlayStation VR. I think it's a market that is emerging. It's not quite there yet, I don't think. But cross your fingers, maybe they're working on something. But I also think that maybe they would have said something, but maybe not. Who knows? I mean, it's got the power to do it.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. So I would love to see something. What I don't want to see is, maybe like an Oculus or what's the other one?
Vive.
The Vive. Yeah, I don't want to see that kind of capability because those things are so expensive. Do something like PlayStation did, make it affordable for people. That's the biggest thing. And if you bring it to Scarlet, great. If you don't, that's fine too. It sounds like Sony's kind of doubling down too on VR. So they even talked about a new VR 2 headset, coming up. So for the new PlayStation. So I'm ready for it, man. I think VR is really starting to grow and get in those games like Blood and Truth that I reviewed last week. That gets you that real immersion. And it really, that's what I want to see. In Exile, they got Wasteland 3 coming out, I think.
Yeah, they said they've had multiple projects in the works.
Right, so yeah, it's do what you're going to do, man. Just give us some games. That's all I want.
Yeah, I have no idea what Microsoft is thinking. It's been long rumored that they've been working on something from a VR perspective, whether it be like a USB type port for the peripherals that exist already, or if they're going to create their own. It's been kind of rumored for a while. I'm not quite sure if VR has reached the masses as far as a lot of people think they have. They've sold a bunch of headsets, that's for sure, but the software is really not selling as much as people were expecting outside of the stuff that comes bundled with the game. So as Dan had said, the PlayStation side of stuff, they've been pushing it for quite a while. If you go to their PlayStation store when you're online, there's tons of sales and stuff that's always going on for it. And there's finally some good software that's out there. As we did in our PlayStation VR video a while ago, we thought it's finally the time for people to get into it if you can get it for a good price and if you can afford it. And now I really hope they don't force bundle something like they did with the Kinect or something like that. I don't really think that would even be up for discussion at Microsoft. So I really personally think to your original question, Ains, what does this really mean? I think it's just going to be a PC thing. We've seen Microsoft Game Studios kind of just focus on some games are going to be just for PC, some are going to be just for the consoles. I think this is really just going to stay in the PC realm, personally.
Okay. I'm kind of between you guys, so I think the approach they're going to take is going to be an in-between approach, which is, I don't think they're going to make a dedicated Xbox VR headset. Rather, I think they're going to build upon the capability of Scarlet to be able to run it just due to the power it has, and then allow the user to basically buy, these multiple headsets that you can buy today and run them on Windows 10 and just have the compatibility open on the Scarlet platform. Mm-hmm. So it would basically be no different than if you bought a virtual reality headset and you could hook it up to your PC or hook it up to your Scarlet. It would make no difference. It'd be like you're just playing the game. So I think that's the approach they may take. There's probably a lot of back-end work that has to happen for that to take place. But we know, like Phil Spencer's talked about VR, and he's kind of hinted that direction, more of a open source type thing with just being able to use whatever headset you want to buy. To your point about affordability, mm-hmm. You're not locked into a single model, right? You can just say, mm-hmm. Okay, I want the $200 cheap one, or I want the $1,000 4K one, whatever, Right. So I don't know. That's what I think. Obviously, none of us really know. I just figured it'd make for a good discussion. So, all right, we'll move on from that. We'll see. Hopefully, we see more next year. But for now, we are going to move over to Division 2. So Division 2, big game earlier this year, fell off a little bit. But Episode 1, which is the first major expansion for the title, is now out. Came out this week. Has a load of new content, including main missions, exotics, weapons. They completely revamped skill building. So one of the biggest complaints in the hardcore community was around skill building, whereas you really couldn't just focus on being a support skill player. Everyone had to run kind of a focused DPS gun build. And so they're hoping this creates more opportunities for teams and, just more ways to play around with the game. So pretty neat here. I really do want to jump back in and play it. There's just so many games. And, it's good they got this out now, because by the time kind of September hits, it's going to be, it's just going to be too much. So I want to jump back in, check it out. But the early read on this seems to be pretty positive. If you check Reddit or some of the Division fan base places, they seem to be liking what they're seeing so far.
Yeah, I know that people have been waiting for it for a while, and we have a couple friends that are big Division players, and yourself, Ains. Everybody's really mentioned, I really want to play some new DLC. I'm not a big Division guy, so it's not a big deal to me, but I'm glad that it's free. I'm glad that people are, excited for it, and good for them, and good for you guys. So, game on.
Good for you.
Yay. So I played a little bit.
Oh, nice.
Just for, maybe an hour. It looks really good. Still, here's the thing. It's like I redid. So I told you guys I redid my TV and my settings and everything. So like every game I play now, I go back and I'm like, oh my gosh, I wasted so much time playing on this dull ass screen. But it is what it is. So the skills, what I noticed immediately, like for example the auto turret. You throw it up there. If you were to maybe throw it up there, let it go half its time, and then take it back in, it would reset with a little bit better timer than if you let it run all the way out. Now it almost looks like however long it was out, that's how long it's going to take for you to get it back in. So they adjusted that, which is awesome, because it went from like 50 seconds to like 20 seconds at one point for me, and I was like, this is great.
I think they called it skill haste, right? So I think they changed it from cooldown to skill haste, where you can actually build into being able to use your skills more often.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was excellent. I did a little bit of the zoo mission. There's a zoo to go to.
Yeah.
Didn't get very far because I tried to get my buddy in. Turns out he does not have the season pass. And this content right now is only good for a week for the early access.
It's early access if you have season pass, and then free for everyone.
And then free for everyone.
Yep.
After a week. Yeah. So hopefully here in a little bit we can jump on and see what the zoo's got to offer. There's also one more, I think. Aquarium.
Yep.
I thought it was, oh man, there's so much stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. There's new classified assignments.
Yeah. So I didn't get too deep into that stuff. So, but I did notice a couple little things, little improvements here and there. So, that's what you need to do. You need to keep on it and just keep pushing and not become Anthem.
I got a notice on Twitter this morning. It said, I swear to God, it said Anthem has something new they have not posted in a while. It gives you a notice when like an account posts for the first time in a while. It pops up.
I think I got something like that too.
It's ridiculous.
Oh,
all right, something more up your guys' alley then. Warner Brothers Montreal. Going back to the Arkham titles, which we talked about recently too. Confirmed via Twitter yesterday that they are working on a new DC Comics franchise game. It was kind of a joke Twitter post because it said redacted DC Comics franchise, redacted. Obviously not sharing any further information, but given the quality of those games, their beloved comic book titles, some of the best ever made, you could probably debate along with the new Spider-Man like we've talked about, right? Pretty cool to see this, and it'll be interesting to see what franchise they're talking about, because I would imagine they're not going to do Batman, right? So what do you guys think in terms of DC Comics? What may they be focusing on?
I think we'd all like to see like a Justice League, something where it brings everybody together. I think Batman might be played out a little bit. Superman, not my fave, but also I can't imagine how that would work as far as like game would go, because everybody would have to have like Kryptonian or kryptonite weapons and stuff. I just never could put myself. I'm sure they've done Superman games. I know they have. It just, I don't know. I don't want to see a Flash. I like the Flash. Love the Flash. Don't think he would be a good game. Maybe something with the Lanterns. I don't know, man. I want everybody. I want everybody to be together.
Like 10 different characters.
Yeah, do like everybody that was in Injustice, but do like a cool, maybe slightly open world. Like in the vein of like Arkham City or Arkham Knight, or where you can flip flop between characters. I'm not as big of a DC honk as I am as Marvel honk, obviously, but I still love comic books, and I still love being able to jump into those hero shoes and kick some butt. So.
Yeah, so I am more of I'm the opposite. I'm the DC guy versus the Marvel guy. I don't care for a lot of the Marvel characters because they're copies of DC characters, but it is what it is. So one thing to keep in mind about the WB Montreal game is that it's been long rumored that it is a Batman game, and it's one that's called the Night of the Owls, or Night of Owls, I believe it is,
right.
Something like that.
Yep.
And so that's been on Reddit a few times. There was on, I guess, 4chan had some kind of like concept art for it and explained the full plot of what it would be, and as we all don't really take 4chan too serious, but it's happened a number of times now, and there's been a few employees that have left and kind of have hinted towards it at WB Montreal too. So
where there's smoke, there's fire type of thing.
Yeah, and it's been rumored for a while now. And one thing to keep in mind is that WB Montreal is responsible only for the Batman Origins game, which was the one that came out after Arkham City, and was obviously not done by Rocksteady, but they used all of the Rocksteady, resources that was left over as far as like the engine and stuff like that.
Assets.
Yeah, all the assets. And Origins was my second favorite before Arkham Knight came out. So I liked Arkham City, then I liked Origins, then I liked Asylum, and then Arkham Knight came out after that for me as far as my favorite game. So I really think it's another Batman game, to be honest. There's so much money to be made there. Every one of those games made a lot of money. And if the rumor of the game that Rocksteady's working on is Justice League in some form or fashion, or if it's just a Superman, whatever it is, I think that's where that Justice League will really take place. But I think this is really just another Batman game.
Yeah, and I if I recall correctly, it's Court of Owls, right?
Yeah, Court of Owls. Yep.
Yeah, and it's from the Batman fans I've seen. There's a lot of you guys out there. They said it's like one of the best stories ever in the Batman universe, right?
Yep. Yep,
so
one of the
cool.
best ones, and a lot of people didn't care for Scarecrow being the main villain in Arkham Knight. I mean, it was definitely cool. The overall game was good, but we were wanting a bigger villain, and this is, as far as the story, I'm not going to ruin it in any form. It's one of the best Batman stories around. So cool. I hope that's it.
Yeah, and as we talked about before, I tried to say maybe it's not a Batman game, but as we talked about before, Batman and Spider-Man, I think are the two biggest kind of comic book IPs, so why not capitalize on it, I guess. All right. Last piece here, and this was a weird one that just suddenly happened out of nowhere yesterday, as we record anyway, so on the 26th, that Doom 1, 2, and 3 were re-released on the Xbox, PlayStation 4, and Switch. And then, as this happened, the original Doom and Doom 2, which were backwards compatible, they were 360 arcade titles that you could play on your Xbox One, they suddenly became unplayable on the Xbox One. And so people quickly got outraged, kind of, reached out to Bethesda, and Bethesda is now claiming, reported by IGN, that this was a bug, right? And that they plan to fix it, but there's no timeline that I'm aware of as of this recording, so we'll see if that actually happens. But just wanted to point this out, that first, it's pretty cool that you can play Doom 1, 2, and 3 on all consoles, modern consoles now. 3 obviously being a very different experience than Doom 1 and 2. But this is also a reminder, and Dan, this is not a dig at you, Mr. Digital.
100%.
But this is a reminder for everyone that digital ownership means absolutely nothing. It can be flipped off like a switch. And so those people, that own these and were playing them backwards compatible, even just this week, suddenly turned it on and it was like, nope, unplayable. So, I just thought that was kind of interesting. I hope Bethesda obviously fixes this. I hope it really was a bug, although that sounds really odd to me, because it certainly didn't get reported on by Bethesda until this outrage happened. But regardless, kind of neat news mixed with some frustrating news.
Yeah, so if I'm not mistaken, I also read another article that the original Doom from 1993 was also DRM'd. Is that correct? They added DRM protection to it to where you have to be online, and then I saw an update to that to where if you download it and register your copy at Bethesda, then you can play it offline, but until then you can't play it online anymore or something like that. Or I didn't read further into it, but I saw the story headlines in a few areas, and I was kind of surprised. But I don't know, Doom is such an old game. I personally think it's cool. It's a cool novelty to kind of go back and check them out, but I'm not going to be replaying these games, and I don't even know who's going to go back and play all the Doom games from scratch again. But I'm not a big retro player, so I'm that kind of guy that's really not that excited for this. I think it's cool. I think it should almost be one of those things that comes free with Doom Eternal. If you want to play it, great, go ahead and get it. Here's your free code for it or something. But maybe it's for the Switch people that don't even know what Doom is because they only play Nintendo games or something. I don't know, but cool. That's all I can say. I'm not going to dog it other than that. Just say that was a long time ago. So good for them.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the 5 people that are upset because they lost.
This blew up yesterday. IGN had the report on it.
No, that's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's like, here, we got all these other games that you guys could be playing, but now that they took the backwards compatibility, or they took it off of the Xbox 360.
No, so you can, if you log onto a 360, you can still play it. But if you tried to play it on your Xbox One, you couldn't.
Just 1 and 2, because they were backwards compatible.
Correct.
So now they're just not backwards compatible.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
It's dumb. Like who were they? Were they just more upset of like the implications? Like
I think so. Yeah, I think just the fact that
Yep.
you had this one day and then now you don't.
Yeah. It is what it is. If I lose 5 or 6, 100 games, I'm probably still going to be able to find something I want to play.
Yeah.
I also don't have to stand up and switch discs, which is fantastic.
All right. We're turning Dan off at this point.
See,
he's going off the rails. He's going off the rails.
This is what happens. All right, now it's fine. Listen, like you said, Bert. Really, I mean, who are these people? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I've got Wolfenstein. I've got the new Fire Emblem. I have no idea when the hell I'm going to go back and play the original Doom.
You're jumping ahead.
This is crazy.
Yeah, that's kind of the funny thing, because it's like you have these retro gamers that only play retro, and the cool thing to do right now is play retro games. So I'm in the camp of like, there's so much to play that I don't even have enough time to even buy the new games right now, that I don't see myself even caring about playing Doom from 1993. What is that, 26 years ago?
Math checks out.
Yeah, is that to carry the 1 over? There's a remainder with change. Yeah, I mean, why am I going to be playing a game that I played 26 years ago when I can play all these games? But like I said, and I think you even mentioned it, Ains, that there's like somebody, I can't remember who it was it Michael or somebody, that their friends are only playing retro games right now or something. I can't remember what it was, but I don't know. I'm not the audience that's affected by this. That's all I can tell you. I'm not that guy.
I think it probably is a smaller group, and you're right. Retro is really big right now. I have a lot of people I interact with on Twitter that are just retro players. I mean, that's all they do. But I think to Dan's point, it's more about the implication, right? It's not so much that, because I have all these games on 360. I replayed Doom 1 and 2, and I love those games. And so this means I can't play it on Xbox One now either, and you don't see me with the pitchfork in my hand. But it's just the thought that this can be flipped off like that.
Yeah.
I think that's what people were pissed off about, because the bigger picture is more concerning. That's all.
Yeah, I get that.
So.
Yep.
Anyway, let's not harp on it. Let's move on. We've got a bunch of tests for upcoming games this fall that are kind of quietly happening. So we already talked about the Gears 5 tech test. That's not quietly happening. That's been big. It's up again this weekend. If you played Friday night for 1 hour, they were really stress testing the servers. They invited everyone to play on a specific hour, and you got this rare blood spray that you'll get when the main game releases, so that's pretty cool. That's going through Monday morning now, so you might be listening to this. It might already be over. But we also have a Breakpoint alpha, so Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And it is under a very, very strict NDA. You're not allowed to talk about it, take pictures, stream, do anything of that. So we're just going to stop talking about it, I guess. But it's good that they're testing it ahead of time. That game doesn't come out for a few months yet, so good to get the bugs out of the way there. And then this one I know Dan loves, but but Bert and I are probably excited about it, is the Plants vs. Zombies. The rumor broke earlier this year that we broke around Garden Warfare 3. Most likely is what it's going to be called, but it's the shooter, series in the Plants vs. Zombies universe. And the alpha testing is beginning for that as well. It's simply codenamed Picnic. And I believe that starts next weekend, and there's specific dates that alpha testers can pick. So I am registered for that next weekend, so hopefully I'll be able to talk about that soon, assuming there's no ridiculous NDA on that. But pretty cool to see all these kind of new titles coming up that people can play and jump in early on.
Yep. I got them. Yeah, that Plants vs. zombies. No, you can get the second one right now for $1.26.
I know,
on
it's super
PSN.
cheap.
Super cheap.
Yeah.
I'm excited about the Breakpoint Alpha. That's all I can say about that.
Have you tried it yet?
I have not because I was out last night.
Okay.
But after this, I'm going to go home and launch it and see how it goes.
You should play Gears 5 instead.
And I'm never, ever going to play any more Gears 5 multiplayer. No, I'm just joking. I do want to try a little bit more of that out because I still haven't been able to get into a multiplayer match. Not because of any kind of technical glitch, just because I've been playing everything else and I had some reviews to do, so I've been trying to punch through some games, which we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, they need to have these games in a better state when they release, so stress test as much as you can, give something out to the fans to try out. I wish I would have got into that Plants vs. Zombies alpha testing, because it's one of my favorite genres of this game from a multiplayer aspect. It's so good. So let us know how it is, Ains. Let us know.
Yeah, we'll talk offline. So new releases and what we're playing, guys. We had 2 big releases this past Friday, and that is Fire Emblem 3 Houses for the Switch, getting reviewed very, very well. A lot of positive feedback on that title. And then Wolfenstein Youngblood, which apparently mixes up the formula for Wolfenstein, and you can play co-op. It's got skills, and it's got like weapon attachments and gun customization from what I'm reading.
Tons of stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's getting reviewed quite well as well. I do have it. I just haven't jumped in yet. But I think Bert and I are going to actually play through that together in co-op. But for now, what are you guys up to? What have you been playing?
Go ahead, Dan. You knock it out first. You've been playing a lot more than me.
Okay. I finished Uncharted 4.
Nice.
Never going to go back and play 2 and 3, though, because I'm pretty sure
Killing
because
me.
I think the quality of the game will go down. I mean, now, story-wise, maybe not. I don't know. I feel like I learned quite a bit about what happened in 2 and 3 by playing 4. It was very, very good. It was gorgeous. There was a few times where I was just like, man, I'm struggling. I need to push and get through some of this stupid stuff.
So
Yep.
4, in my opinion, beautiful game, and I think probably the best overall Uncharted game, maybe just because of the tech, but it drags in points. It was too long.
It does.
Yeah, it was a little too long.
They should have cut some of that middle stuff out. Uncharted 2, in my opinion, I don't know what Bert thinks because he's a big Uncharted guy too, but I think Uncharted 2 does have the best overall game and story. But Uncharted 4, just because of how gorgeous it is and the environments, it's great too.
Yeah, they did a really good job with that stuff. I finished Wolfenstein, or I didn't finish Wolfenstein. I started Wolfenstein Youngblood. It's very deep. I mean,
Nice.
I haven't even barely scratched the surface, I think, with the skills and the gun attachments and stuff. It's a Wolfenstein game. I literally tried to stealth, and because it kind of, gives you some options to do that, which I guess if you really, really tried, it'd work, but it's Wolfenstein, man. Just go blow up Nazis.
Yeah.
Run
and gun.
Run and gun. It's fun, and I like the 2 main characters.
Cool.
They're hilarious, corny, but hilarious. And I finished Ultimate Alliance 3. I kind of did a review-ish thing with it, so we'll talk about
I'll
that.
comment on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was great. Had a really good time playing with the kids.
So Ultimate Alliance 3.
Yep.
The story.
Yeah.
How long if you just play? If I bought it, didn't play co-op, just play beginning to end story.
Gosh, you could probably.
Any idea?
I would say you maybe 15 at the least. I mean, but that would be really powering through. I'd say about 20 hours.
So for me, like 50.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, yeah. There's
Yeah,
you can
200.
find these riffs along the way and stuff, and it's like, oh, I can just jump in and do this real quick and
Okay.
upgrade some stuff. But yeah, there's you would have to really push if you want to. And it gets hard. It gets pretty tough too. I mean, and we were playing on the normal level. And
Don't try and make me buy it.
There's just a point where it comes. It's just like, what just happened? Like everything got incrementally more powerful. And you got to level up, guys. You got to do.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff going on.
I was watching some guys that live stream it last week for about an hour. I watched, and it actually looked really good. It made me want to pick it up.
Yeah.
If there weren't so many games right now, I've already picked it up.
Yeah, that's always the issue, man. It's too many games out.
And did you try online co-op at all?
I did not yet.
Okay.
No, we just played local. We could go back, because we got a couple switches. So we just played on the big screen.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier.
Well, if you're local, I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious because I'd really like to play with you guys, but I don't know if that's possible. Anyone listening, if you've played Ultimate Alliance 3 with friends online, let me know, please, because I'm curious.
And if anybody needs some help, hit me up, and we'll play some.
Friend code 12X950438.
That's exactly what it is. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Bert, what you been up to?
Yeah, so I picked up Devil May Cry 5, started playing it. I think it's in the top 5 best-looking games of this generation. It's absolutely gorgeous, which for some reason it doesn't get talked about enough in that realm, but it's really that good-looking from everything that I've seen. The other game I've been playing is I picked up Yakuza 0 again. I'm actually pushing through and forcing myself to get through that one. If it kind of narrows off and it just isn't fun anymore, then I'm just going to quit playing that. Finishing the rest of my long second and third year career from F1 2019. That's where I am with that one. And then, funny enough, started playing a bit more Rocket League, which is a game that I've actually owned. I have it physical, and now it's part of Game Pass, and I've been playing with multiple sets of friends. And the learning curve in that game is pretty steep, but once you get the basic hint of it, it's really fun. But just keep in mind that there is a whole nother set of people that are multiple levels above you in difficulty. So, or I should say, just in talent. So that's about it. Played a bit more games this week. So last few weeks I haven't gamed that much at all, and I caught up a little bit this week. So pretty exciting.
Nice. Yeah, we've been playing some Rocket League, and we played some last night, and yeah, it's interesting. I love the game, but yeah, some players are just on a completely another level, and we didn't even play any of those, but you do have pro players and pro tournaments in that game, and it gets pretty nuts, but it's a lot of fun. I'm still checking out Days Gone, so I am liking it. I think I need to wait for it to open up. I know you guys who have played through it have said it does start slow. It kind of opens up and gets better. And so right now it's like I'm liking kind of the world and just exploring and doing stuff, but it feels like I'm doing the same things over and over again. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to stick with it, but it's good, but I'm a little indifferent right now. I haven't seen too many technical hiccups. You can just tell that it's not polished to the level of some other first-party Sony titles, right? It's not up to the level of Horizon Zero Dawn or God of War or anything like that. It's just not. The other thing I find weird, I don't know if you found this, but this really annoys me in games where it's an open world, but you can't. It's an open world that has paths purposely put into it. Like, for instance, I have to go to this area, right? And you can get to it from this path, but me being me, I'm like, well, I want to climb the rocks over here and then go over here and try and sneak down a different way. A lot of times it blocks you from doing that.
Yeah.
You can't climb. You can't jump. You can basically just clamber on some things.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe if you're lucky, you can jump your bike over there.
Yeah, it just kind of forces you down certain avenues.
Stealth,
so it's not really true what I would call open world, where you can just go anywhere and do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And especially coming from Breath of the Wild, it's kind of it's totally a little weird. But other than that, played Blazing Chrome, which is a title on Game Pass that is kind of an homage to Contra. And I had my son sit down with me, and we played through almost the whole game last weekend just for a couple hours. We were tearing through it. So it's pretty fun if you like the old Contra games, 2D shooters. In my opinion, it's not as good as Contra. The weaponry just isn't as good, and I don't know, it's a little repetitive. But other than that, it's fun for just a little playthrough.
I played a little bit of that, too. It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
It's pretty much Contra.
Cool little flashback game.
Yep.
And then we're going to talk about this a lot more, but got the new Nacon Unlimited controller. Not new, but to me, that we're testing out. So playing Days Gone with that has been interesting. So anyway, like I said, not a whole lot of news this week, a little on the lighter side. So I think we'll just move over to Name That Game. And Bert has promised he is going to really give it to us this week, because for some reason he didn't get the games the last 2 weeks, which is really his fault, but he's going to take it out on us. So
games I've never played and had zero interest in. That's what that was. Probably
you need to play more games. I don't know what to tell you.
Apparently. All right. So this is Name That Game. This is a game that
First.
I think you've played, and I will say that it is probably considered in the top 100 best games of all time. So we'll see if that's true for you guys.
He said the same about Meteos. You remember that?
Yeah,
He's
that's
like, this is
not-
ranked
No.
one of the best games ever. And
I said that was my personal best, but for the first
Oh, okay.
2 years of the Nintendo DS, it was the top-selling, highest-rated game. So that sucks for you guys. So
Yeah.
I don't even think you guys bought Nintendo DSs, so that was just a bad
Was that in Japan?
thing.
Or was that-
Oh my god. Okay, I'm starting the questions. Goddammit. Here we go. Your first question, and I have my phone up for this because I took them on my phone. This game came out for the PlayStation 2, first in Japan in 2001, and in the United States in 2002. That's your first clue. Ains is the host, so you get to go first, sir.
okay. The original Devil May Cry.
Negative. You are completely wrong, but play Devil May Cry 5. All right, Dan, what do you think?
What was on PlayStation 2? It's been a while. I'm just going to go with Sonic the Hedgehog All-Star Racing.
What the
I'm being
hell?
very specific here because I don't want to, waste my answer.
You don't want to waste your answer, but that's what your guess
Yes.
is? I got it. All
Yes.
right. No, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. All right. Jesus. The next clue, which Dan, you get to guess first, so that's good for you.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Um,
you know how it works.
The game was originally planned for the PlayStation 1, but took 4 years to develop, and it was a lot longer than expected, so it came out on the PlayStation 2, like I initially said. So originally planned for the PlayStation 1, but took so long to develop, it came out for the PlayStation 2.
Xenogears.
No, but that's actually a great game.
It is a great game. I don't even know if that's PlayStation 2.
Kingdom Hearts.
No,
Man,
it is not Kingdom Hearts.
that's early
That
on.
might be a dig towards Kingdom Hearts. I'm not quite sure.
No, it's
But,
it
okay.
took a long development. It obviously had to be translated, which would have made it come out here a year later. And I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, he's trying to justify his guess.
The next clue.
I wasn't
It's
trying
not
to justify
Sonic.
it.
I will give you a personal clue, Dan, and it has not had anything to do with Sonic at all. So there you go.
All right.
Okay.
I'm
The
leaving that
third clue. So we're on question 3 here. The director's original thought process about this is boy meets girl. So that's what he was initially had in mind when he designed this game. Boy meets girl.
Where's Alden when you need him?
there. Yeah, I know it.
Yeah. That's right. Boy meets. Is that Boy Meets World he loves? Yeah, Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Boy meets
All right.
world meets girl meets
Mm-hmm.
dude.
dude.
Yep.
Drawing blanks right now. Drawing blanks. Let's go with Final Fantasy X.
Negative. But that is a good game. Believe not my favorite Final Fantasy, but it's good. Dan, you're up.
Boy meets girl. Japan. 4 years of extra development. Final Fantasy 9.
It's on PS1, man. Come on.
No, it is not Final Fantasy 9. Okay. In this game, the name of the title is the main character's name.
Okay. This is gonna really limit my choices here. PlayStation 2. Title of the character's name. Boy meets girl. What the hell are we talking about? Is there a boy named Meteos?
Negative.
Damn
Negative.
it.
Was that your guess?
Is that your guess?
No, can it be? No. Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Jesus. All right,
Is
moving
that his
on.
name?
Ains, you're up.
I'm not much better. I don't really have anything right now. I was gonna say Persona, but that's not it. So I'm just gonna say Persona.
Jesus. No. All right, so I mentioned earlier that the original mentality from the original thought process from the director was boy meets girl. So here's the clue: you are a boy, and you're trying to save
meet a girl.
And you're trying to save a girl, and the reason you're trying to save her is because the main boss of this game wants to kidnap her and use her in order to extend her life. The main boss wants to extend her life.
A woman.
Could be.
Well, I mean, literally, it's what you just said.
Yep.
Extend her
So
life.
Ains,
Or extend the life of the girl.
Yeah, extend her own life using the girl, I think
Yes,
is what
okay,
it means.
that's what you're talking
That's
Worded kind of strange there.
Yes.
You're worded kind of strange.
My name's Ainsley. I don't disagree.
So essentially, you're trying to save the girl. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a Mario or Zelda game. Okay, got it.
It's on the PS.
It's PlayStation, remember? It's PlayStation.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm just I'm drawing blanks on early PlayStation 2 days here. God, 2002 PS2 Japanese title. Man, I'm not even in the ballpark right now. I got nothing. Yeah, I don't have anything. I'm not going to waste too much time here. State of emergency.
Nice.
State of Emergency. No, that was a great game, though.
That was a fun
I love
game.
that. I love that game.
Girl needs to save, or guy needs to save girl because bad guy girl is trying to extend her life.
Got girl.
I know it's super not PC. Probably somebody's gonna say it and go, "Oh my gosh!" and use the correct pronouns. Maximo 2, the Maximist. Yes.
Negative.
Excellent. Another great game.
Okay.
We're good at naming good games at
Yeah.
least.
Well, wait, that's the one I did. I think Bert got that one. That might have been the
Yeah.
last one anybody got.
That's a
Was
great game.
Maximo.
Okay, next clue, guys. Next clue. I need you guys to focus. We are on, I believe, clue 6 here. Clue 6. All right. In this game, you eventually find the girl. And when you're with this girl, you, or actually throughout the whole game, I should say, you can take no damage at all from the game and the enemies and everything, but the girl can. And the game is over if the girl dies.
That sounds horrible. That sounds like a game builder on an escort mission.
Yeah, it sounds like a giant escort
Could
mission.
be.
Sounds terrible.
If the girl dies, the game is over.
Like, you have to start the whole game over, or just like you...
No, it's just game over. You go back to your
Permanent.
checkpoint or
I
whatever.
mean, I died.
You personally can take no damage from
There's
any
several escort
enemies.
games out there.
You take no damage from any enemies. That's the main clue.
Okay. So you're invincible when you're with the
For
girl.
the most part. Or just the enemies do no damage to you. They don't hurt you.
Mhm. Oh, they just hit the girl. Okay, yeah. That doesn't really make a difference.
I don't know why you're clarifying this.
I'm buying time to reach back into the old crusty cobwebs of my brain, which are thick. Jeez, dude, I have no idea. I'm gonna use a pass.
I don't have anything. I'm going to say Fatal Frame.
No, but that's a great game too. Okay. Going back to another clue.
If it's about a boy and a girl,
Yeah, I know.
I'm
we're
going to
done.
reach through this mic.
All right, this game has had numerous spiritual successors that came out on the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation 4.
Whoa, that's bringing it.
Mind blown.
Yep.
Spiritual successors, though.
Spiritual successors, not a direct sequel.
Not a direct. Okay.
Do you think that would help? It doesn't.
No, not one bit.
PS3. Oh God. Invincible. What the hell? I don't think if I've played this, I've erased it from my mind. I got nothing. I really don't.
What question are we on?
Let's pick one here.
Yeah.
We're on question
No
6.
Man's Sky.
Nice. Good
Oh my
choice.
god. Nope.
So
Dan?
spiritual successor.
Dan, I believe
What
you had a
question are
guess
we on?
here. I think we're on question
beat
6.
wrong. Okay, that's the third time we're on question 6. Spiritual successors on the PlayStation 3, PlayStation 4, Girl Meets Boy Meets World Meets Girl Meets God. Damn it. Jak and Daxter.
Fun games.
Super fun.
Wow.
Jak and
Great,
Daxter.
great game. That could use
Fucking
definitely a
name.
reboot. Nope, that is incorrect, obviously. Obviously.
Pokey, wasn't it?
Here we go. Next clue, guys. The girl's name that you're saving, her name is Yorda. Yorda. Spelt Y-O-R-D-A.
I don't know if we'll get this game, but I'm getting a shirt that says the girl's name is Yorda for the
Yorda.
next podcast. That's all it's going to say on it.
Yorda and Perna 2020.
Yeah, that's right. Yorda.
Yep.
Gosh, why does that sound so familiar? You know what? I'm thinking of Yora. Yora was the Final Fantasy bad guys, I think, maybe. Final Fantasy 15. I don't know why. I don't know Yorda, though. God damn it, Yorda. Right up there with fucking medias. God. All right. Shoot. Yorda. I'm just thinking like spiritual successors. That's where I'm stuck now.
I am too, but I'm not coming up with anything.
Jim.
No.
The game.
Earthworm?
No.
That was the guy's name. That's
No.
my best guess.
I think the next couple clues will help you, but I think ANZ still had a
say that,
guess here.
Yeah.
Last 3 weeks.
I do have a guess.
Go for it.
Alita Battle Angel.
Oh yeah.
My God.
I don't have. Honestly, I've got nothing. I'm completely
Oh my
lost.
God.
Well, her name is
Okay.
Alita, though.
All right. Obviously we mentioned Boy Meets Girl. We've talked about the girl already. Here's a
3
clue
times.
about the boy, who is the main character, and the title
His
of the
name is
game.
what?
He is born with horns.
Horns?
Horns. H-O-R-N. And the answer is not
Horns.
Hellboy.
Like
not
horns on
Hellboy.
his feet? What did you say?
No, horns.
Horns.
Okay, wait. I do have a guess now. Ico.
It is Ico. You got it. It is
it?
Ico.
Boom.
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
Also, like
it
the
is
spiritual
Ico.
successors of, like in,
Yeah. The only other clue that I had here, guys, that I was going to give to you is that the spiritual successor is Shadow of the Colossus. It's not
Yeah.
a sequel. And then the last final clue that I had is that they speak in a language that is not understandable. So it's not like it's not English, obviously, or it's not translated from something else. So it is Ico. Great game. If you
Nice.
haven't played it
I have
and
never
you
played
are...
it.
I played it.
What the hell?
I don't
Wow,
remember.
that's
No, never
a
played
great
it.
game.
It's
If
crazy.
you if you're looking for, I guess, the best version of Ico, there was a PlayStation 3 remaster. It was not a remake, but it was a remaster that actually looked pretty fancy. But it was Ico was pretty awesome. If you haven't played that game,
Nice.
so
Nice. Hey, we
Well,
There
at
you
least
go.
we got one
Yeah, that's
in
good.
3 weeks.
We'll
yeah.
take it.
Nice.
Good job, bro.
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
thank
Let
you.
us know if you got that before us. I'm sure someone did. Anyway, we're going to close out. We got a few things to talk about, though. Some housekeeping items here. So Dan put together a unique style review on Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 that you're going to be able to find on the site probably by the time you're hearing this, or watching this. Bert is doing a written review of F1 2019 to go along with the comments he made on last week's Bitcast, so look for that soon as well. I have a long article coming on Nintendo that is pretty much finished, so that too may be up by time you're listening to this, or look for it this week for sure. And then Dan and I are going to be putting up a video again, which should be up here in the next couple days, if not already when you're listening. Really talking about all of the PlayStation 4 aftermarket controller options. We have tried, owned, and played with them all. And so we're going to really go in depth around what we think about all of them, the positives, the negatives. And just you can make your best decision on if you want something other than the DualShock 4. So as always, really want to thank you for listening, watching. If you are watching, please like and subscribe on YouTube. It obviously helps a lot. And otherwise, anything else, guys, before we are out of here?
Nope. Play
Yeah,
Ico.
man.
Play
Yeah,
Ico.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
Bring
as
it on.
always, guys. Bitcast 66. We will talk to you next week.